Parcel Frenzy Get to Work is one of those games that comes out of the blocks and punches you in the face at a million miles an hour. And within minutes, you're sorting boxes, fighting awkward pallet physics, buying forklifts that I think are stolen, fixing broken machines, drinking coffee in order to stay awake, and trying not to lose your mind. This one's going to need a breakdown. Let's use the SimShack 7-pillar review system. Now, before we go any further, there is a decent game here underneath some issues. That's important because for the first 10 minutes, I genuinely wasn't sure. But underneath all of the irritation, all the shouting, all the chaos, there's actually a decent idea. And with just a few tweaks and changes, this game could be a lot more fun than it currently is. It was released on the 16th of January 2026 from developers DeadEagle and published by Spitfire-Games. Its genre is simulation, believe it or not, and it's currently single player, but the good news is, possibly it's saving grace, it's only £4.29 or $4.99. When you load up a game like this, you expect a few things. You expect warehouse pressure, but it needs to be believable. The workflow needs to make sense, and if you're going to build a parcel handling game, the actual handling of parcels needs to feel at least a little bit good. That's the first big problem, because the pallet stacking and rotation system is frankly a frustration. Now, you can adjust it in the settings, but it doesn't really help. In fact, if anything, I got used to the weird way of doing things and then couldn't adjust to what I thought made more sense. It doesn't help that you're not really holding the boxes in a way that feels natural. They sort of levitate in front of you, but you have no control over how close or how far away it is. And there's no indication of where you're placing the box, so it's very, very easy to knock other boxes off the pallet whilst you're trying to put a new box on. Now, let me be clear. Everywhere that there is a way of saying it, this company and this dev team are trying to say that this is the worst place to work imaginable. And I think, if nothing else, they have absolutely nailed that. But I think they've gone a little bit too far. The way the boxes handle at the moment is not a challenge, it's an irritation. But I shouldn't really have to wrestle the controls that hard just to get an acceptable rating of play. The second big issue is the mini-game attached to pallet sealing. In fact, it's attached to everything. I hate it. I hate it. I really do. It's totally unnecessary. If you take that stupid, pointless mini-game out of this game, you already improve the overall gameplay experience by 90%. And I don't say that lightly. It adds nothing useful. All it does is slow everything down. It's always the same. And because the game is already throwing loads at you at once, even on the easy setting, it becomes one more layer of annoyance rather than something enjoyable to get involved in. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I can't recommend the game as it currently stands. Now, in terms of realism, there are bits here that genuinely work. I've worked in places similar to this, and there's an underlying buzz of trying to be fast and efficient. And on top of everything, that part I recognise and I can get on board with. Sorting parcels, watching the weights, keeping an eye on broken machinery, dealing with energy levels, forklifts and workflow pressure. There is something about that which feels familiar, so I can see what the game is trying to do there. It just keeps undermining itself with systems that are too clunky or too gamey. I say it all the time, and in this game it's 100% true. It could really benefit from being slightly more realistic. The boss is another example. As a character, he works. He's meant to be irritating, and oh my god, does he succeed. I have never wanted to punch my boss in the face more in my life, so in that sense, mission accomplished. But the problem is, he is constantly yapping in the background and repeating himself, and it just stops being flavour and starts becoming noise. At the very least, get him to ring up and give you a mouthful every half an hour, not every single minute of the day. So, in terms of audio, it's a mixed result. The boss gives the game identity, which is good, but there isn't enough useful feedback elsewhere. So for example, I specifically wanted clearer alerts when the machines break down. Something audible, something that tells me, fix this problem, go fix it right now, it's important. Instead, there's just too much of the game relies on visual clutter, repeated voice lines. From an immersion point of view, the warehouse itself is actually fairly well put together. The modelling isn't too bad. Graphically, it's actually better than I expected. The entire setting works. The forklifts, the conveyors, the cameras, the workstation, the repair points. There is enough to make a warehouse feel, but the box physics, the repetitive mini-games and the lack of multiplayer is chipping away at that. Multiplayer is one of the key things. There is so much to do here. The intensity is so high right from the beginning. Multiplayer is the only way you could make that fun. And that's the issue with the game. It's not broken. It's not terrible. It just never quite comes together into something that I personally would want to spend hours playing. In terms of fun and gameplay, this is where I have to be brutally honest. There is potential here, absolutely. If it added multiplayer and got rid of that stupid mini-game, different story. Instantly a different story. Because suddenly all the chaos makes sense. You can share the stress and the hatred of your boss with your friends. You got one person sorting, one person stacking, one person on forklifts, one person handling the breakdowns and the repairs. That would be good fun. That would actually suit the pace and the madness of the design. But when it's solo, when you're doing everything, it's too much. On top of it, that mini game slows your progress down for nothing. It gives you nothing. It's not even well designed. It's the worst looking bit of mini game I have ever seen in my life. Just drop it. It's crap. So, in terms of performance, it seems stable. No major stutters, no serious technical collapse. Visually, it ran fine. There was an issue with 4K resolution. I couldn't get it to run in 4K at all, so it ended up being a sort of weird amalgamation. You'll have to watch my Let's Play to understand what I mean by that. The graphics, I think, are actually alright. The warehouse looks decent. There's a bit more polish here than the mechanics initially suggest. Certainly isn't stunning, but it's certainly not the weakest part of the game. And for a cheap title, you've got to respect that. So let me try and sum this up. 3 things need to happen. It needs to get rid of the minigame. First thing, add multiplayer. Second thing, sort the boss's voice out. Or maybe you could swap 2 and 3 round. Sort the boss's voice out and just, take the pressure off a little bit at the beginning. I don't think it's a bad game in the usual sense. I think it's a game with a decent idea and some real potential and some very obvious design mistakes. Fix those things and I can recommend this game. Without those 3 fixes though, I can't. At £4.29 it's cheap. I mean, it's very, very cheap. But cheap alone is not enough. If you want to irritate yourself, go get the game as it is now. But for the love of God, developers, get rid of that mini game and work towards putting multiplayer in this, and you'll actually have a game that I think people will want to buy. Now, before I go, there is one other thing. There are other levels, other layers to this game. It hints at it all the time. We're talking about ghosts, scary nighttime schedules, and even an underground element that you can only get to once you reach a certain level. At this point in time, I don't care what they are, because the rest of the gameplay is so infuriating, I don't even care to get to that point. But if they fix those three things that I mentioned, then there are even more layers to this game than I myself have seen, and I'm sharing with you right now. So fingers crossed the developers will listen, think about what I've said, and make some changes. Let's see what happens. I'd love it if I could, for once, be able to say that my review helped improve a game. Thanks for watching, take care, till next time, goodbye for now.
In a world of pixels where dreams collide, Sim UK reviews the honest guide. From racing cars to flying high, ultimate realism, take your wings to the sky. We talk about the truth and keep it real. Fact-based reviews, it's all in the field. No hype, just clarity, we break it down. Realistic simulators, the talk of the town. Real talk, Sim UK, we're here to say we keep it smooth, never lead you astray. News and previews and interviews on site. Set up guides to take your game to new heights. Honesty is the best policy, they say. Always tell the truth. in every way. Yeah. From the cockpit view to the racetrack lanes, we dive deep into the code, explore the veins. Ultimate simulations that make you feel alive. Realistic graphics, man, we help you thrive. Each guide is crafted with love and care. No false impressions, just a breath of fresh air. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned pro, Sim UK Reviews is the way to go. Real talk, Sim UK, we're here to say we keep it smooth, never lead you astray. News and previews to top views on site. Set up guides to take your game to new heights. Honesty is the best policy, they say. Always tell the truth in every way. Yeah, we're diving in, no shortcuts here. Honest updates, that's what you'll hear. Simulations that sparkle, realism that shines. With every review, you'll know what's divine. From the mechanics to the sound of the game, Sim UK's the name. Remember the fame, we won't steer you wrong. We keep it tight, sharing knowledge in the day and the night. Yeah, got set up guides to make it a breeze. The reviews that unlock with the greatest of ease. Fact-based reviews taking the forefront. Realistic simulation, we always confront. The challenge is real, embrace what you find. Sim UK Reviews just leaves you enlightened. No fluff, just facts, that's our creed. Bringing you the truth, that's how we lead. So come along with us, join the ride. Sim UK Reviews, your truth by your side. With every honest word, you'll capture the thrill. Ultimate realism, the peak of the hill. From flying high to racing fast. Sim UK Reviews, your knowledge will last. Together we can explore, uncover and learn. Realistic simulation, it's our turn.